This is 0612 TV.
Welcome aboard.
Hello YouTube. As mentioned in my HP DV6 review video, I mentioned that, well, I'm gonna actually do a little bit of tutorial regarding the mapping of the function keys. Just a quick overview if you don't know what I'm talking about. For the HP DV6, which is the laptop I have, basically the function keys also double up as, buttons that change the brightness, change the volume. The normal, usual way that we're used to when it comes to accessing these functions is to basically press the Fn key, and then you can use the functions like brightness or volume adjustments. If you don't press the Fn key, you're actually pressing say F3, F4, F7, F8. What HP has done for this laptop is they've actually reversed this functionality so that if you press the brightness button directly, you are actually directly changing the brightness. But if you wanted to press F3 or F4, you actually have to press the Fn key and then press the F3/brightness up key. I am personally not a fan of this behavior, so I actually did mention that in my HP DV6 video that, well, it was kinda inconvenient for me, and I finally found out a way to change it. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you how I did that. If you have another laptop that, has the same problem, try to first look up to see if there are any friendly ways to, change this, because the method I'm going to show you involves going into the BIOS. If you know what you're doing, everything's fine, but if you don't know what you're doing, do note that if you make a wrong change in the BIOS, you could just render your system non-bootable, and then, there's a lot of trouble, and it may even void your warranty. The point is, if you want to follow this tutorial, please remember that poking around in the BIOS of a computer is dangerous and could potentially ruin things. So yeah, just thought you should know. Also, another point I should mention is that unfortunately there really isn't a way for me to capture my screen while I'm in the BIOS, which means of course I have to resort to the age-old way of using a camera to shoot my screen. I know it doesn't give, the best footage, but unfortunately that does seem to be the only method I have on hand. So I apologize in advance for, the not so nice looking video, but hopefully at the same time it is enough to show you what you need to know. So alright, enough blabbering from me, let us go ahead and look at how to make that change. So alright, let us go ahead and get started. Now the first thing you need to do to actually hop into the BIOS is to actually restart your computer. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that real quick here, restart. Now the key is, when it actually prompts you to do so, you need to hit the escape key. Oh, there you go. Okay, so now we want to go into BIOS setup, which says F10. Go ahead and hit F10 here, and now we are in the BIOS. Now once again, be very careful what you change here. Don't change anything that you're not sure what it does. So what we're looking for here is in System Configuration. So you use your left and right keys to actually navigate this menu. So we're not going to go into detail about anything else except what we want to do. So we want to head over to this thing that says Action Keys Mode. So if you look at the help text, there is actually help text that tells you what's going on. So it says that disabled requires pressing function key plus F1 to F12 to activate action keys, whereas enabled will switch it around. So what you want to do is you want to set this entry here to disable. Now currently I have it correct, but normally it'll be like this. It will say enabled. What you normally want to do is that you want to hit enter, press up to select disable, and then press enter. Now this hasn't actually applied the change yet. You need to look down here. It says F10 for save and exit. So you want to go ahead and hit F10. It's going to ask you to confirm whether you want to save the changes, and you can go ahead and say yes or no. So let us go ahead and say yes, and your system will go ahead and reboot, and you should find yourself back in Windows with your function keys working properly. And there you have it. That is, well, how you fix remapped function keys on a laptop. As mentioned earlier, if you're using a different notebook facing the same problems and you want to follow the steps I mentioned here, it's probably not going to be exactly the same for you, but hopefully it is enough to give you some sort of an indication as to how you might find your way to fixing this problem. Well, that's all there is for today's video. I hope you found it useful. As always, if you have any comments, queries, or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite, and subscription you give me. Until next time, you are watching 0612 TV.